Hello, my name is Chip Highmiller with the firm Beacon Financial Strategies, and today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about understanding the benefits and advantages of donor-advised funds as they relate to your charitable gifting strategy. First of all, what is a donor-advised fund? Well, a donor-advised fund is simply an account that allows donors to make charitable contributions. Donor-advised funds are generally established at brokerage firms, mutual fund companies, and even public charities. Funds like Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, they all have their own donor-advised funds that can be established by individuals and funded and really become a major part of a person's charitable gifting strategy. Donor-advised funds are nice in that they have, in general, low minimums. So there's no $100,000 or more requirement in order to make this an appropriate strategy for your charitable gifting. So oftentimes I've even seen companies that offer account minimums as low as $5,000. So it's very reachable for most people who are charitably inclined. One of the main benefits of a donor-advised fund, as with any gifts to charity, is that when you make a gift into a donor-advised fund, you do receive, as the taxpayer, a tax deduction in the year that the gift to the donor-advised fund is made. So this is nice in that you can contribute low basis investments, say stock or real estate or even mutual funds, into this donor-advised fund. It can then be sold and reinvested in a more diversified manner. And you would not pay any capital gains as the grantor of this gift. And over time, within the donor-advised fund, you could invest it in a way that could grow with time. And so it's kind of a nice way to implement a charitable gifting strategy. Funds deposited into donor-advised funds are invested in, usually mutual funds, but a lot of times custodians will have model portfolios, or I know Vanguard uses life strategy funds, and so you can kind of cater it to your own specific investment strategy that you prefer and your risk profile and that sort of thing. One interesting element is that although you can make a larger gift, and receive that tax deduction in the year that the gift is made into the donor-advised fund, you can actually spread the gifts to charities out over time. And so, there's no requirement that you have to immediately make a gift to charity. You can kind of, you might want to gift $10,000 to the donor-advised fund, but then let's say you want to gift $1,000 each year to your church or some other charity, and that makes it a nice way to control the timing of gifts. So it's important to point out the fact that when you establish a donor-advised fund, you can really name it whatever you'd like. It doesn't have to be, your name is not necessarily attached to the donor-advised fund. Oftentimes families use a donor-advised fund as a way to incorporate multiple members of the same family into one gifting strategy. And you can name that, the Smith Family Gift Fund, or any name that you can basically come up with. You can't use trust in the name terms, but you can use gift fund or your name or your family's name. But it does facilitate anonymous gifts, and that is a really nice feature. Because if you've ever made any reasonable size gifts to a charity, you are on their mailing list, you are peppered with solicitations and that sort of thing. And so donor-advised funds help from the standpoint of making anonymous gifts. The other thing to keep in mind is that donor-advised funds, compared to other types of gifting strategies, are very hassle-free and they're very inexpensive. Charitable trust and foundations, they all have tax filing requirements and annual report requirements and all of these other costly items that really are prohibitive, I think, to the gifting strategy itself. So the charity gets less money and the fees are higher. So donor-advised funds have a very low fee thresholds, and everyone's a little bit different. Each custodian is a little bit different, so you'll have to check out the internal fees with the donor advised funds as you go through the due diligence process. But in general, they are a very low cost and hassle-free way of making strategic gifts. A couple of things to point out here is that, grants from donor advised fund to a charity is super easy. Oftentimes, especially with national organizations, the fund itself has a list, say Salvation Army, United Way, all of the national charities. There's a list of those, and you can simply transfer funds electronically from your donor advised fund to those national charities. But donor advised funds can also do a great job of facilitating gifts to local charities, food banks, food pantries, even churches. Your church you can establish a relationship between your donor advised fund and your church. And so it's really an easy thing to do and establish, but it works both on a national and local giving level. So hopefully this presentation has been a good overview for you about donor advised funds. Keep in mind that with every situation is a little bit different, and in order to make the best decisions for you, donor advised funds should be considered as a one element of your total comprehensive strategy. So hopefully, if you have any questions, you will not hesitate to reach out and give us a call.